The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BC, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. We're back, guys. We're back live again, getting our day started here in Japan, and it's great to be here. It's great to be here. It's great to be seen. It's great to talk some boxing. It'll be great when people come in and start leaving their comments because there's quite a lot to talk about, and there's some things I want to run through. So please smash the like button if you're watching live. If you're watching the playback, please also smash that like button, as those likes, they help the channel. They help push this live out to more people that aren't subscribed to True School Sports. And yeah, thank you. But before I even get into like what I want to talk about, you know, obviously we're going to talk Boots, Ennis, and Teo. We're going to talk about WBC convention and all these fights that have been ordered, potential fights that could be happening, the implications they could have. We're going to get into all that. But before I get into all that, I want to encourage everybody, please, if you haven't done so already, it dropped early this morning. It dropped Seigo Yuri, my 30-minute Seigo Yuri Akui interview. It dropped. Great interview with the WBA Flyweight champion of the world. He's going to be fighting Kenshiro soon in the unification. They're starting to already promote the fight in Japan on Japanese television. So it's a very important interview, and it's actually one of the interviews that I'm most proud of. Everybody always asks me, like, BT, out of all the interviews you did in boxing, what are like some of your favorites? This is one of my favorite interviews I ever did, not just because Seigo was so nice and polite, but also because it comes at a significant time in his career, and I put a lot of work into that interview, like editing it and stuff. And so please go run that up. Check out the video also I did about the Jimmy trains at the Kurashiki Moriyasu boxing gym. Check all that out, and stay tuned for more Japanese boxing content. We got a lot more in store for you guys, a lot more really big things in the way. So thank you for everything. But before I get into Jaron Ennis and Teo and the WBC convention stuff, let's take some time to run through the comments. Shout out to, let me see, we got S Drizza in the building. He says, I like that fight. It's good for both guys, and I agree. Hockey Meezy out there, and Hockey says, let's go BT. Just watch the Seigo interview. It's the best so far from Japan. Thank you. And that's what I think. I think it's the best so far from Japan because the most effort went into that video. You know, it was my 7th interview overall in Japan from last year and this year. My 5th one with my boy Taihei, and my 4th Japanese world champion. So, you know, I think it's an interview. Even if you don't like the flyweight division, even if you don't care for the smaller weight classes, I think just for the creativity and the editing, you should check out that video. That's what I think. But nonetheless, let's get into the main idea of the live. Make sure you smash the like button. Let's start with Jaron Ennis versus Teofimo Lopez, because now this is a fight that's bubbling up. This is a fight that's being discussed, as it was reported that Bob Arum and Top Rank have approached Eddie Hearn and Matchroom about doing a fight between Teofimo Lopez and Jaron Ennis. It was reported that it's going to be more than likely a co-promotion pay-per-view, so it would be a DAZN ESPN pay-per-view, which, you know, maybe it does better business than I think. I don't think that fight's going to do great pay-per-view wise, because as good as Jaron Ennis and Teofimo Lopez both are at the sport of boxing, neither one is an established star, and I don't think putting it behind a paywall is going to really help their star power. That's just my honest opinion. But, however, you know, I'm sure Boots has guarantees in his contract. I'm sure Teo has guarantees in his contract. So in this day and age, the only way to meet those guarantees, because of how crazy the boxing market is in America, is unfortunately going to be pay-per-view. So it's a good fight. It's actually a fight I would buy on pay-per-view. I would support it, because the reason being is because of this. So a lot's been talked about with Teofimo Lopez these years. His name's always thrusted in the mix of the quote-unquote 4 kings, the modern-day 4 kings. By the way, shout out to Matayoshi Supermarket, one of my favorite supermarkets. But Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, these guys have always been propped up to no end. And really and truthfully, if we're talking about substance, if we're talking about accomplishments, if we're talking about who's behaved the most like a champion, who's always seeked out the best competition, it's always been Teo from 2020 to now, 2019 to now. You know, fighting Lomachenko, fighting Josh Taylor. You know, he's fought and beat the best guys of all those fighters. You know, 2-division lineal champion by the age of 26. He's made it very clear on multiple occasions he wants to be a 3-division lineal champion. I think by the age of 27 or 26, he said. So Teo, his actions are lining up with what he said. And around this time last year, he was calling out Terrence Crawford. And a lot of people didn't believe that he wanted to fight Terrence Crawford. I even interviewed the president of the WBO, Paco Barcarcel, last year around this time, and I asked him about that fight, and he thought it was bullshit. I didn't think it was bullshit because Teofimo Lopez is that crazy. He is that stupid enough to believe in himself. You know, maybe more people should be like Teofimo Lopez in that regard. Hold on, let me cross the street before I get clipped. All right. Yeah, no, like Teofimo Lopez has always wanted to capture greatness at welterweight, and you know, I know they had the Brian Oman Jr. fight that was proposed earlier this year. Supposedly he turned it down, from what they say. But if Teofimo Lopez follows through and does fight Jaron Ennis, who's gonna criticize him for that? Like, that's a better fight. It's a tougher fight. It's a higher risk and a higher reward for him. So I applaud it. I applaud it. And he's already been starting to get really vocal about that fight on social media. So to me, in my opinion, Teofimo Lopez's career at this point, you can make an argument. There's a case to be made, and this is my opinion. There's a case to be made right now without beating Jaron Ennis and becoming a welterweight champion. He's a Hall of Famer just on what he's done. Because there's guys that have done less that are in the Hall of Fame, and you know, I think if he goes up to 47, because he's going to be an underdog. Teofimo Lopez will 1,000%, without a shadow of a doubt, be an underdog in that fight. If he goes to 147 and he beats Jaron Ennis to become the IBF welterweight champion of the world, in my humble opinion, that should stamp his ticket to the Hall of Fame with zero questions. Because then he'll have become a 3-division champion by like what, age 26, age 27. You can't really call him a lineal champion. I'm not really sure who you would need to beat. I'm not sure who you would need to beat right now to become a lineal champion. Maybe if Ring Magazine makes the fight for the belt, maybe you can go ahead and say that the winner of that fight is the lineal champion. I don't know, because the lineage has kind of been broken because Crawford moved up and never really got beat at 47. So that's up for interpretation. But it does a lot for Teo, and more importantly, I think this fight does something for Boots, because right now Jaron Ennis, as many of you guys know, he avoided the Virgil Ortiz fight. He refuses to go to 154, even though he said himself he can't make 147 as comfortably as he used to. He's having a hard time. It's a tough weight cut on him. So he wants to stay at 47 because he has to go undisputed, but it's dumb because there's not really anything viable commercially there for him. Teofimo Lopez, moving up from 140 to 147 to challenge him, is the most commercially viable fight for Jaron Ennis. It'll be the biggest event he's ever been in if he fights Teofimo Lopez. You see what I'm saying? So it gives Boots that chance to really be in a big fight with a name that people know, even if it is a smaller guy coming up in weight. It's a smaller guy who's been the man, not just a title holder, not just a trinket collector, but the man in multiple weight classes. Because in boxing, apart from being undisputed, the best thing you can be is the man who beat the man. When you're the lineal champion, which people can't refute that. Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko to become a lineal champion. He beat Josh Taylor to become a lineal champion. So he's done it 2 times. So I love this fight. I love this fight. And truth be told, you know, maybe it won't do great on pay-per-view. This is one of them times where who gives a damn? Just get it over the line, because it's good. It's beneficial for both fighters, and I think it's a great fight for boxing. People aren't really saying to people really aren't like clamoring for Boots to fight Mario Barrios. Nobody really gives a shit about that fight. Let's just be real. Let's be honest. People aren't clamoring for Jaron Ennis to fight Jin Sasaki except me. You know, people aren't. There's not really any fights. Conor Ben. I mean, that's a cool little fight, but Conor Ben. Not too many people are clamoring for that fight either. So this fight to me makes all the sense in the world. And if Jaron Ennis can beat Teofimo Lopez, as funny as it's gonna sound, because Teofimo Lopez is completely unproven at welterweight, hasn't really done anything to be classified as a top welterweight. But Boots beating him, and this really speaks to like the lack of opposition he's fought in his career, 32 fights in. If Boots beats Teofimo Lopez, that's gonna move his career forward in the right direction, give him some more credibility. So the fight makes both sense for both parties involved, both fighters involved. It's a big event. Why not? Why not? You know. Let me see. What are you guys saying? Shout out to my guy Casanova, says Teo was harassing Bud at his last fight, but he's lying about wanting to fight. Teo is doing what we want guys to do, but fans think he's lying. That's what I'm saying. Like, Teofimo Lopez is the way, like, the last couple years, he goes on these tangents and he goes on these rants that don't make any sense, that aren't really coherent. But one thing about Teo, you can criticize him for a lot of things. You can say Teofimo Lopez is inconsistent. You can say maybe he's a bit weird. You can say a lot of things about Teo. But you know what you can't say about Teo? He's always actively seeking greatness in the sport. So when I heard that when I heard last year, around December, November last year, when I heard Teofimo Lopez wanted to fight Terrence Crawford, I believed him, because Teofimo Lopez has fought like top guys been fighting him. You know, that hasn't always looked the best against the Sando Martins, and we know about George Kambosos' dream. We get all that. He's inconsistent. He's a guy that has a very inspirational personality. He fights up to the level of competition. He fights down to the level of competition. But Teofimo Lopez always wanted to fight Terrence Crawford. I always thought it was the other way around. I thought Terrence didn't want to fight Teo, and it checks out. It really checks out, because Terrence Crawford, ever since he beat Errol Spence, has pretty much been telling the boxing world to kiss his ass and doesn't want to fight anyone of note. Like I know Madrimov's a good fighter, and it wound up being a very tough fight. But nobody asked him to fight Madrimov. Nobody cared about Madrimov. Madrimov gave him a great fight, and nobody still cares about Madrimov. That's the truth. So I believe that it was Terrence that didn't want to fight Teo. I still believe Terrence don't want to fight Teo, because the only thing Terrence talks about is Canelo. So, you know, I don't care what people think. That's what I believe. Because when you ask Terrence to fight certain guys, like, you guys tell me what guys at 54 is Terrence talking about fighting? Because I mean, I know that there was a picture that surfaced recently with Terrence and Fundora. That's cool, you know. But Terrence doesn't actively try to fight these guys at 54. And I'm getting off script here, but I'm making a point that I'm bringing up Terrence to say that I always think Teofimo Lopez was crazy enough to actually dare to be great. Not this bullshit daring to be great in boxing where, you know, guys jump up 2 weight classes. Guys jump up 2 weight classes like Charlo versus Canelo. They have no chance. They have no chance to win, and they get cashed out. They don't even try to win. I don't know. Teo has actually dared to be great in his career on multiple occasions, and I think with Terrence it would have been the same thing. So I hope to see Teo versus Boots. It's good for both fighters. It's good for boxing, and yeah. Let me go ahead and get these comments. Shout out to my boy. Shout out to Vegas Sports Today. I'm not sure if that's Mike or if that's Sean, but whether it's Mike Dixon or Sean Tatel on Vegas Sports Today, salute to you guys. Shout out to Vegas Sports Today. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Vegas Sports Today for all great content in Raiders, all that stuff. Raiders, anything in Las Vegas, pretty much. That's what you want. That's where you want to go. Shout out to them. He said they said why not? Yes, why not? Why not? Everybody says why. Why Boots got to fight Teo? Why do these guys got to fight Teo at 47? Why not? Because Teo, is Teo going to go fight Hitchens? I don't think so. That's not a fight I think he's going to go explore. Maybe Devin keeps Teo at 140. That's the only fight I think keeps him at 140. But he was talking about fighting at welterweight for a while now, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. You know. Crawford versus Teo. He's going backwards on that one. You're talking about Crawford? I mean, to be honest with you, Teo versus Crawford would have been better than Crawford versus Madrimov. I'm sorry, you guys keep trying to prop up Madrimov, and he's a good fighter and everything, but like nobody cared about that fight. And that's one point I'm gonna stand on. Nobody asked for the Madrimov fight. So yes, if you're talking about him maybe fighting one of the top guys at 54 like Fundora or Bakram or something like that, that's fine. Like those are good viable fights. I think if he were to take one of those type of fights, Fundora, Virgil, something like that, good fights. I like those fights. Going to Teo from that is going backwards, but like he's not really trying to do that. You can kind of see it, like even in Crawford's demeanor these days. He's chilling, like he has the body language of a guy who's made some great money and is near retirement. That's what he looks like right now. Nobody's asking for the Teo fight. Teo was asking for the Carter fight. And Carter really wasn't, when Teo was asking for the Carter fight, Carter wasn't doing anything. He had really nothing going on. So my thing is, Terrence always talked about guys ducking him, but then when a guy called him out and was actively wanted to fight him, you know, he wanted to he wanted to do what Earl Spence did to him and play the A side. So it's funny how that works. Bud paved the way to become a two-time undisputed in the era, so he deserves to chase Canelo. Chase Canelo. Do all that. Get your cash out. But I'm just saying, like, if Canelo decides not to fight him, I don't want to hear that, oh, he don't want to fight certain guys at 54. He don't want to fight Fundora. He don't want to fight Bakram. He don't want to fight Virgil. He don't want to give Madrimov a rematch. All that stuff. You know? I don't want to hear like because if Canelo inevitably decides to do whatever the hell it is he wants to do, because he can do that, because he's in that position, unfortunately. That's how boxing works. He sells a ticket, he puts the asses in the seats, he moves the needle more than everybody in the sport, so he gets to dictate. And so if Canelo dictates that he don't want to fight Crawford, he ain't going to fight Crawford. And Crawford got to actually still continue to be a legitimate champion of 54. I love Crawford. People think because I talk shit about Crawford and you know, criticize him a little bit, push back a little bit about what's going on in his career right now, people think that I'm a Crawford hater, and I'm not. Crawford is one of my favorite fighters in boxing. One of my favorite fighters of all time. I only criticize Crawford because I love Terrence Crawford, and I would like to see him continue to be great, you know, so it is what it is there. Let me see. Shout out to Warlock Boxing. They said, are you in Japan? Of course I'm in Japan. Yes, I'm in Japan. I'm chilling in Japan. Still doing my thing. Still got some good interviews coming up. I'll be going to Tokyo in about a week or so things about to rev up again. I've been chilling way out in the islands of Japan, just relaxing and creatively recharging, doing what I came here to do. So yeah, it's good to be in Japan. Good to talk to you guys. Let me see. BT, who can I bet on this Pro Box card tonight? I'm not giving nobody no betting advice. You bet on whoever you want to bet on. I do know that Kazuma Akitsugi, the bantamweight, he came in a little bit overweight. I'm not really too familiar with his opponent, but if his opponent's any good, maybe that's a fight you could bet on, because I mean he might be a little weight drained, so that might be worth taking a bet. Rico P says, you got me money with the Junto fight, rounds 1 through 6. Okay, shout out to you, champ. Super chat some of that money, champ. I'm joking, but nah. Are you talking about the Junto fight with the guy from Thailand that was like 76-1? That I told everybody was like Junto's gonna beat the brakes off that dude, and he did. You know, I didn't even watch him fight. I just know that they brought him there for a reason. You know, more than likely he wasn't gonna be able to do with Junto. They weren't gonna pick somebody too difficult. Protected by Angle says, Trap is in Vegas. You talking about Dominique Francis? Dominique Trap Francis? If he's in Vegas, shout out to Trap. I love Trap. It's my guy. But yeah, man. I mean, Boots, Teo. Hopefully it happens. I really don't see a bigger fight for either guy right now. The only fight for Teo maybe is like Devin Haney. Devin Haney's a big fight because they have a lot of history. So unless Teo was going to unify with Devin Haney next, there's no sense in doing anything else. Okay, well, shout out to Dominique Francis. I hope he gets good sparring in Vegas, because I know now he's a 130-pounder. So, you know, might need to get some of that Angelo Leo work while he's out there. I might need to set that up for him. Benavidez is at minus 185. Now I gotta lock it in. Lock it in, champ. Lock it in. But yeah, if y'all got any other things to say about Teo versus Boots, y'all can continue to chime in. I'm sure people will chime in on that as the live goes on. But I wanted to also discuss some of this WBC stuff. So let's talk about that. Actually, let me get to Hyro's comment. He says, remember when Eddie Hearn had the FU the zone money? It was like having shows in the streets of Tulsa or that fake Miami structure for Android. Teo versus Boots is a bloodbath on pay-per-view. Yeah, I remember very clearly Eddie Hearn having that FU money on the zone. Hold on, guys. Let me cross the street. Oh, okay. There's this one street, guys. Every time I cross it, it's like they have no freaking crosswalk thing. It's crazy. But yeah, Eddie lost a lot of money, and I remember those days very, very well. I remember when he had the card in Tulsa. Raymond Ford fought on the undercard and he wore a jean jacket vest. Yeah, I remember it very well. If Boots doesn't take this Teo fight, either his career has been wasted. Yeah, he's next to Roy Jones. Yeah, like, look, man. If the Teo fight negotiations progress deep enough, and he don't take the fight, he might even be worse than Andre, like management-wise. And that's saying something because Andre was pretty. I like Andre. You guys know I was a big Andre fan, but like Andre was so terribly mismanaged. It's not even funny right now. It's not even funny. If this Teo fight, they get to continue talking and negotiating, and Boots don't take this damn fight, then I'm done. Like I'm actually gonna be done. Like Boots is gonna be. I'm not gonna take him serious no more. And Philadelphia a reputation in modern boxing will have taken a hit, because Boots is supposed to be leading the way for boxing in Philadelphia, and he ain't really doing that right now. You know, he's not. Boots is looking extra soft out here, ducking real smoke for yet again another smaller guy. This guy was supposed to be him. Yeah, I mean, I said it. What was it? 3 years ago when I did a live, I said that. When Boots was coming up as a prospect, I said, I think Boots has a chance to really be something special in boxing. I feel like he's like just mentally and how he seemed to be at that time. I thought Boots had all the chance in the world to be like the next great welterweight, and mismanagement on his end, and then on top of that, the Crawford Spence thing really didn't do him no favors. But he got his chance to fight Virgil, or even if not. Like, let's just act like the Virgil thing didn't even happen. Let's say Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz didn't exist. Jaron Ennis has had ample amount of opportunities to get the hell up to 154. We've all known that even before Crawford fought Spence, that both of them were going to 154 in the near future after that fight, and that's what's happened now. You like Spence just got ranked #1 by the WBC this morning at 154. Terence Crawford is a champion at 154, but Boots is still at 147. So we've all known that the best power move for Jaron Ennis for quite a bit of time now was to go to 154. But he's refused to do that, and now he's being starved out of big fights. So, in let's just say 3, 4, 5 years time, if Boots has a career where he's in his 30s and he still hasn't had a big fight, he's got nothing to blame but his management team and the people around him. And that's just the truth. Boots' best win is Lipinets, who was a world champion, but for a future pound for pound, it shouldn't be nowhere near his best win. I agree. I agree. Lipinets was a good win. And that was at that time, that was during the bubble. It was harder to get fights for everybody in boxing at that time, because it was just a weird time in the world. But yeah, by now he should have been progressed to something bigger and better, and he hasn't, because management, and just not having his stuff in order. Because I always say this in boxing, it's like, just because you're one of the most talented fighters, it doesn't guarantee you maximizing your potential and being this great fighter. You could have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have your team in order, like the people around you pushing the right buttons and making the right moves at the right time, you're not gonna have a snowball's chance of hell making it in the sport. That's just how it goes. Listen, man, we got 27 in you here, and I only got 10 likes, man. Don't come on, guys. Don't be like that. Don't be stingy. I get the messages all the time on Instagram. I get the comments all the time. They say, BT, you never go live no more. You don't do this. You don't do that. You know. And now I'm going live. I'm going live consistently, and I only got 10 likes, and there's 25 of you here. So look, guys, smash that like button so that the video gets pushed out to more people. They don't cost more than it costs a second of your time. Do that, and that'd be greatly appreciated. Because I'm here. I'm talking boxing. I'm walking the streets of Japan. You know, doing that. So please. I had very high hopes for Boots. Why did he go? What did he go to the zone for? He said he wasn't getting fights at Showtime. Now he gets big payday from Turkey, and now he says he doesn't even know about it. I don't know why he went to the zone. I think Eddie Hearn's a great talker. You know, Eddie Hearn's a great talker. Eddie Hearn is a master manipulator, and he's great at selling a dream. Eddie Hearn could be talking to you about chicken shit and tell you it's chicken salad, chicken souffle. That's how Eddie Hearn is. You know, a great promoter, but sometimes he's such a good talker that you know, fighters will believe the dream they're selling them. Sometimes he knows he can't even deliver for these guys, and he really hasn't been delivering for Boots at all. And fighters will believe him because he sells them a good dream, pays them well, he overpays them, which, you know, is good for them, but it's not necessarily the best thing for their career. So that's why he went there. Crawford had a legitimate chance to face Fundora and be at the 3-day vacation, but he's throwing it away. Yeah, pretty much. And he won't think twice about it because he's not trying to really prove himself as the top 154 pounder. He thinks because he was the undisputed champion at 135 and 140 and or not 140 at 140 and 147 that just gives him that he don't got to prove nothing at 54, even though he's in a new weight class, and that's not how it goes. That's not how boxing is. So just because you may have proven a lot in your career, and just because you may have done a lot in other weight classes, that doesn't give you the license to not continue proving it as long as you're competing in the sport. You don't stop competing in boxing until the day you retire. That's how it goes. So yeah, I agree with you. Enrique says, Eddie Hearn still thinks Boots can get the Virgil Ortiz fight at 154. That ship has passed. I don't agree with that. That ship hasn't passed. It's passed for now, but, you know, things like this happen in boxing all the time. Guys will negotiate a fight or be offered a fight. Maybe it can't happen. Maybe timing is off for whatever the reason. And you can circle back to it. It happens all the time. But, yeah, it's not looking good because it's bad business. And I think Turkey... You know, Turkey. One thing we have learned about Turkey, and this is not me hating. This is just the truth. He doesn't like when people tell him no. That's the truth. And Boots effectively told Turkey no. So that's probably not going to go well. So you're probably right. And Enrique Luna also asked me. He wants to know what's my favorite boxing gym in Japan. Now that's a tough question because there's a lot of great boxing gyms in Japan. I love the gyms in Japan. They're very, very different than the States. And I like them. I really enjoyed the gym that I went to recently, where I interviewed Seigo Yuriakui, the Kurashiki Moriyasu boxing gym in Okayama, Japan. I like that gym a lot. I like the Hatanaka boxing gym where Kosai Tanaka trains when I went there last year. It's probably going to be one of those two. I think one of those two would probably be in the running. Either, yeah, and Misako boxing gym where a lot of fighters train. Ken Shiro trains there when he's in Tokyo as well. So, you know, those would probably be my top three in no order. If I gotta pick one. Yeah, I know Pro Box is on now, but I wanted to go live because, you know, I'm in Japanese time zone, and American time zone is crazy. So I'll go back and I'll watch it when I get a chance, and I'll do my video on it. I want to see how Katsuma Akitsugi does. Don't spoil it for me because I'm gonna go watch it probably when this is all done. If Boots keeps turning down big fights, Eddie Hearn is gonna hold his fights on Pro Box. Shit, I mean, that's probably what's gonna be best for him because, you know, then he can fight in front of a sold-out crowd all the time, and then you know, he can be active. That's probably what he should do. He probably should go to pro box because they always say Boots is being affected by ring rust. But you know what? People that fight on pro box are never affected by ring rust. So maybe that could be an option. Jaron Ennis on pro box. I'm sure pro box have a field day with that, promoting that. When are you heading out to Tokyo, BT? Probably in about a week. I'm not exactly sure when yet, but in about a week. Be there, getting some things done. Got some great interviews coming up, you know. Got the Inoue fight coming up. Got the Ioka fight coming up. Got the Ampo Garcia fight coming up. So there's a whole lot of things coming up that I'm really excited about. And I should be at most of those things I just named. Cass Noah wants to know, do people look at me funny out here? At times they do, but I'm not. I mean, I don't really pay too much attention to if they do or they don't. I just try to not be too loud and be considerate here in Japan and respect their culture and things like that. And everything's been pretty good for the most part. People just mind their business in Japan, which is what I like. Like in Japan, if you have like an introverted personality, which I wouldn't say I'm an introverted person. I think I'm very much. I like my solitude, but I wouldn't call myself an introverted person. But if you are an introverted person and you don't like talking to people like that, this is the best place in the world because people won't bother you. If you don't fuck with them, they won't fuck with you. That's how it goes in Japan. So I like that about it. But yeah, shout out to everybody here. Where is everybody watching from today? You know, what city, what state, what continent, what country? Put it in the chat. I want to see how international we are on the live today. We're about a half an hour in. But yeah, funny enough, I've been sitting here flapping my gums and I didn't even get to the WBC part yet. So shout out to the WBC convention. They want to know, or Hockey says, BT, does Linares still live in Japan? No, I don't think he lives in Japan. I'm actually pretty sure he lives in Miami because he's always training at this one gym in Miami. I got friends that train at this one gym in Miami and they always see him there. So he might be, I'm pretty sure he's in Miami. I can't say for 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah, anyway, let me get into the WBC convention stuff because I didn't get a chance to talk about that because there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to dissect. You had Dea Benavidez and Dea Morrell, which I think is the main thing we need to talk about because the WBC ruled today, a couple hours ago, maybe like 7 or 8 hours ago, they ruled that the winner of Benavidez Morrell will be the mandatory challenger for Beterbiev Bivol and the winner of that rematch, which is great because that's the fights I think a lot of people in boxing are intrigued to watch. You know, Bivol, Beterbiev is a great fight. The first fight was a great tactical fight. The rematch should be really fun to see like which fighter makes what type of adjustments. You know, does Bivol become more aggressive? Is Beterbiev's knee going to be healthy enough for him to get out to a quicker start? There's so many questions that got to be answered in the rematch, so it's going to be a great rematch in February. But Benavidez and Morrell is a great fight on its own. We know Benavidez has been chasing. Benavidez has been chasing the big fights. Like, you could have all the criticisms and critiques you want of him, but he's been behaving like a fighter who's hungry for greatness. You know, he fought Caleb Plant, he fought Andrade, he fought Vosnik, now he's fighting Morrell. It's one of the best runs of any fighter at the championship level of boxing right now. So respect to him for taking the tough fights and giving the fans what they want to see, you know. If he wins this fight and Beterbiev does what I think he's going to do, which is win again, because I told you guys Archie Beterbiev is going to retire undefeated, and I'm standing on that. So you don't got to ask my prediction. You guys never have to ask my prediction for an Archie Beterbiev fight because I've already told you what I think about his career and how it's going to go. I think he's retiring with his O, and he's going to retire as one of the all-time greats. So I'm picking him every fight till he retires. But if Benavidez does what he's got to do, and Beterbiev does what he's got to do, all of a sudden now we got the fight that I've talked about a lot over the years here on True School Sports. There's a lot of history with that fight because, you know, Benavidez missed weight. The WBC moved him up to 175 in the rankings back in like 2020. Then they requested to go back to the 168 rankings. He wasted a bunch of time there chasing Canelo, and now he's at where he should have been years ago, which is light heavyweight. So that move may play out better for him because now Beterbiev has more miles on the clock. He's going to go through another fight with Bivol. He's 40 years old. Benavidez is young. Benavidez is going to get another fight at light heavyweight. If he beats Morrell, I'm sure he'll gain great experience from that fight, and it'll make him a much better fighter. So history tells us that, you know, the natural progression of things in boxing is that the younger fighter, the younger guard, upstages the older guard, and there's some sort of passing in the torch. And shit, I know that's how it normally goes, but I'm standing on what I said all these years. I'm not gonna back up the block. I'm gonna stand on my word, and I'm picking Beterbiev against the field. I'm picking Beterbiev to the day he retires. But that's a great fight. That's the fight. That's one of the best and most violent fights in boxing. Like, me and my boy Sean Tatel, when I was at his house in Vegas one time, like maybe 2 or 3 months ago, we were watching film on Beterbiev and Benavidez at one night, and the conclusion me and Sean both came to is that if them two ever fight, that's gonna be the fight to determine who is the baddest motherfucker in boxing, the baddest MF in boxing, you know? So my wish, honestly, my wish as a boxing fan is that Benavidez take care of business against Morrell, and Beterbiev take care of business against Bivol, and we get that fight, because to me, that fight is box office. That fight is that fight right there, that fight is pay-per-view. That fight is worth people's time, attention, energy, you know? The hand speed of Benavidez. Benavidez even got a little bit of slickness too to him. Like, if you go back and you watch that Bostic fight, he was showing some different things in that fight. He's not just a come forward mauler with hand speed. He's got some things with him, you know? Beterbiev, power jab, physically strong like one of the most, probably pound for pound, the most physically strong guy of his era, you know, in any weight class. It's hard to deal with him in 12 rounds. So I just think that fight would be so good, so great, so exceptional, you know? Beterbiev Bivol is the best fight of this generation. From a technical standpoint, it is, because I remember when I was breaking down the fight. When I was breaking down the fight, like, there were so many technicalities and things you had to like break down, because like Beterbiev and Bivol, like Beterbiev is known as just a puncher or a guy that gets knockouts, but he's much more than that. You know, he's a much better boxer than people give him credit for. Bivol is a master boxer, but he's not feather-fisted. He's not feather-fisted. He's not getting the credit he deserves for being as sharp of a puncher as he is to keep guys honest. So they have so much with them that I think people who don't know what they're watching, they may not understand like just how great both those two are at boxing. But yeah, in closing with that, Beterbiev, Bivol are gonna have to see the winner of Morrell versus Benavidez, and I just think any combination of those four, whether it's like Morrell, Bivol, or Morrell, Beterbiev, I mean, even that's a great fight. So I think just as long as the WBC sticks to that route and that pathway for both fights and both fighters, boxing fans win, you know? So that's one part of the news, and y'all can continue to give your thoughts on Beterbiev, Bivol fighting the winner of Morrell Benavidez, ruled by the WBC today. But yeah, in other news, you had because who was it? Cruz says, "What do you think about Chocolatito's fight against Maloney?" Now, I got nothing against either of the Maloneys, Jason or Andrew, but my thing is, Roman Gonzalez is like 37 years old. And if he's gonna stick around boxing, I think Roman Gonzalez should only fight. There's only a handful of fights that I think he should take. I think Roman Gonzalez should either be challenging for a bantamweight title to become a 5-division champion, or actually that's it. Really, that's really the only fight I care about. I don't care about him fighting Maloney. Like the fact that he's gonna have to fight Maloney for the opportunity to become Bam Rodriguez is mandatory, and then if Maloney gives him a tough fight and makes Roman Gonzalez look like regular and old, then Bam's gonna want to fight. Then Bam's gonna want to fight Roman Gonzalez all of a sudden, so he can fight an older aging fighter and beat another older aging fighter. Like, no, that's corny. That's corny. I don't like it, because Maloney will probably, whether he wins or loses, he's gonna give Roman Gonzalez a decent fight. decent enough to put him through some punishment at 37 years old. And then Bam's gonna fight him. And I'm tired of Bam fighting old people. Like, I got nothing against Bam. He's a great talent, but like, no. Fight Puma Martinez. Fight, you know, the other champions in your weight class. Fight someone who's not old, you know. Hell, even like I was looking at the flyweight rankings the other day, and like one guy that never got any consideration for a Bam fight that I think should have got consideration for a Bam fight at the time, but I didn't even realize it because he's that underrated, is Ricardo Sandoval. Like, why didn't Bam fight Ricardo Sandoval? That would have been a good fight. You know, Bam versus Junto. Like, there's so many other fights for Bam, but they're gonna want to go for Romo Gonzalez because from a marketing standpoint, that's a passing of the torch fight. He'd be 37, and if he beats Maloney and looks any bit like his age, you're gonna have Robert Garcia and Bam and everyone from the management team rushing to make that fight. Guarantee it. I guarantee you guys, whatever money needs to be offered to Romo Gonzalez will be offered. He'll take the fight, and he will lose to Bam. More than likely, he's going to lose to Bam because he's 37 years old, and you know he's definitely lost a step. It takes some time to get warmed up now when he fights. You know, I don't like that fight. I don't like the Maloney fight, just because number one, Romo Gonzalez should be fighting like. He should still trying to be doing. If he's in a fight, he should be fighting like at bantamweight to become a 5-division champion. That's what I think he should be doing. But I mean, to me, it's pointless. That's what I think about it. If you want my honest opinion, I think it's a pointless fight. But it's good for Maloney. Maloney gets a chance to share the ring with the legend. So I guess credit to Maloney. Shout out to my guy David Esther with the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate you, David. Thank you for always coming to these lives and giving your thoughts. And thank you for your contribution. What do you think about Badou Jack being reinstated as the WBC champion? Now, funny enough, you bring up Badou Jack because Badou Jack is the champion in recess because he tried to get he went to go get a shot at Bridgerweight, and Badou Jack, he didn't get it, so the WBC declared him as the champion recess. And he's basically the mandatory for what, McCallion or whoever the hell they're going to rule as a champion because it's a mess over there at the WBC for cruiserweight. And Chris Billum-Smith, who's not ranked in the WBC, but he's a former world champion, his team at the WBC, at the convention, they asked to fight Badou Jack for that status in the rankings. And Badou Jack was basically saying like, no, I don't know who he is. You know, he doesn't bring anything to the table. I've only seen a fight against Zotto and he lost, and I only want big money fights. So that was kind of corny. Badou Jack trying to act like he's some sort of superstar. Like, humble yourself, brother. Like, last time most of us saw you was getting your ass waxed by Rafael Popeye Rivera. Like, you're not, like, you're a good fighter at 68, but at cruiserweight, you not like that, Badou Jack. And I like Badou Jack. But I didn't like that. I don't like when fighters, I don't even like it when the superstars do it. Like the guys that actually can be divas, I don't even like it when they do it. So you know I'm not gonna like it when Badou Jack, come on, he can't be A-side of nobody. Who is Badou Jack to A-side Chris Billum-Smith, who's still, even with the loss to Zotto, still one of the best cruiserweights in boxing, you know? Still easily in the top 5. Let me see, what else we got? I'll throw you a couple of dollars today. I hope Carrillo against Rocha wins against Rocha on Saturday. I think Carrillo is a way better fighter. He's definitely the more technically polished fighter. He's got the better amateur experience. Rocha is more of like a workman-like, come forward type fighter. So he should beat Rocha. I think he should beat Rocha. I like both fighters. BT, who do you got? Dennis McCann or Peter McGrail? The winner will potentially fight Shabazz Masood, who will likely beat the winner. But the 122 division is looking good right now. Peter McGrail and Dennis McCann are very similar from what I remember. Like, they're both technical southpaws from the UK. I'd probably lean towards McCann. I think McCann's got better feet than McGrail. But they're very, very similar. I would say McCann. Bam is trying to unify, except El Gallo and Elka are pesky fouls, wanting rematches. Else Bam would have been put hands on Puma. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Ioka is paying probably good money to get Puma to come here to Japan. So my thing is, if the BAM team knows that, why aren't they trying to overpay Puma to get the unification fights? You know, everyone knows Bam's a top fighter. So pay up, pay what you gotta pay, get these guys in the ring and believe in your guy. But I'm just saying, like, I don't like the fact that, cause I feel like with Cholatito sticking around boxing, if he goes through to fight Maloney and wins, oh my God. I think they're gonna try to do the Bam fight, and that don't sit well with me. That does not sit well with me. I don't like the fact that now, if Bam was gonna fight Cholatito, the best time to do that fight was 2 years ago after he beat Martinez. You know, not now. My man Lance says, bro, I don't like Wiz Khalifa out every day out here. It's cold, it's dark, I ain't trying to wake up. You want to know when it's easy to sleep in, when it's cold as fuck, dark for months at a time, hibernate. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love sleeping in? I mean, we all love sleeping in when we can. So I definitely get it. Let me see. If Jesus Ramos can manage to lose a little bit and Ryo losing the covert boxing, gambling is a dead cause for me. I mean, gambling on boxing, I mean, I know a lot of people that do it and make good money off of it, but I would never bet on boxing. Like, I barely ever bet on boxing my entire life. I would never bet on it consistently because it's the one sport where you can be right and be wrong. Or you can be wrong and be right. Because, like, my prediction for Parle versus Hitchens was Liam Parle by decision. And Liam Parle got waxed and got fucking taken to school by Hitchens. But I was almost right. I was almost right about Liam Parle versus Hitchens because one judge scored at 117, 111. So that's how crazy boxing is. With predictions, with betting, all that stuff. You can be right, but still be wrong. And be wrong and still be right. So, you know, that's just how it goes. Same thing as the Boots and Noma situation. Eddie Hearn is being a cheap ass. Yeah, like at some point in time, you can say a fighter is being ducked and avoided, and that's cool. I mean, you can use the boogeyman narrative for only but so long. At some point in time, if a guy isn't getting the big fights and you're not able to get the big fights over the line for said fighter, then you have to be willing to overpay market value to get the fighters you want in the ring. That's just what it is. So, what are your thoughts on Ramos versus Rosario? The dude exposed Brian Mendoza. Jesus Ramos exposed Brian Mendoza. Why? Because he fought him on short notice. Because he fought him on short notice and won a fight against a fighter on short notice. That's what you call exposing someone. Jesus Ramos didn't want to do that rematch. I'll tell you that much. Because I know that for a fact. But to answer your question, Ramos versus Rosario is a interesting fight because Jason Rosario, in my opinion, shouldn't be boxing anymore. Jason Rosario had a very hard time like 2-3 years ago making 154. And then we know he was fighting at 160 not that long ago. And now now you're telling me Jason Rosario, who was killing himself to make weight, is going to come back down to 154 for Jesus Ramos? That sounds terrible. If Boots really wants those fights, then why not lower his purse? Barkov does it. He spends on bling bling. If Boots really wants to fight, then why not lose it? I agree. Like at some point, even it comes down to the fighter and the promoter. The fighter has to get frustrated enough to say, you know what? I know I'm great enough to win these fights, but I have to get them. So if it's going to take me taking a pay cut to win, then so be it. And that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of fighters in boxing, I know that like this is something that I don't think, this is something that I know about boxing behind the scenes. Like a lot of fighters don't take pay cuts. I only know a handful of fighters that will take a pay cut. I know fighters that, like, the reason why you guys always hear me talking so highly of a guy like Angelo Leo is not just because he's my friend, but because he's a fighter that has made 6 figures in his career, all right? 6 figures in his career. And then, you know, couldn't fight for a while. And then when he fought on Pro Box, he was taking dramatic pay cuts because why? He believed in himself. And a lot of fighters don't have that kind of belief in themselves. Even fighters that you would consider to be more skilled than a guy like Angel Leo, like Boots. Most people would probably say they think Boots is more skilled than Angel Leo. But I don't think Boots has the same self-belief in himself as a guy like Angel Leo. And that's just the truth. And that applies for a lot of fighters. A lot of fighters may talk a big game in the media. They may use a lot of good words for lip service. But when it comes down to it and they're put in a position where they got to maybe compromise their purse or compromise something with money, then all of a sudden now they don't want to dare to be great. Now it's not about legacy no more. So it's only a handful of those kind of guys in boxing. Hell, even Floyd, like people like to give Floyd all this shit, but when Floyd was early in his career and he was with Bob Arum and he was fighting in these random venues like in Oregon and things like that, he took pay cuts. Like Floyd Mayweather, before he became Money Mayweather, the man took pay cuts to prove that he was great. Because he actually believed in his skills. It wasn't just Floyd giving you lip service. Teofimo is a loudmouth special ed student. He's not fighting any of these guys, just yelling out for attention. You may be right about the first part of your statement, Malcolm. Like he's definitely a loudmouth, and sometimes when you hear these rants about what he's saying, it ain't coherent, and he does sound like, you know, not like a regular person. So I'm not gonna disagree with that first statement, but I'm gonna highly disagree with that second part of your statement. He wants to fight Jaron Ennis. I think he wants to fight Jaron Ennis. I think he wanted to fight Terrence Crawford. He has a great resume. He's fought plenty of people, so I'm gonna believe him, and we'll see what happens. You know, I know supposedly he turned down a Brian Noman Jr. fight, so they say, but Brian Noman Jr. ain't exactly the easiest person to work with either. You know. Malcolm says, "I'll believe it when I see it. Blessed be." No, nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you gotta see things to believe them. So I get it. I 1000% get it. Maybe he see the fight. I don't know. I'm trying to think who's the most. You guys let me know in the chat. Who's the most like top rank opponent there is? Who's the guy that Teofimo Lopez would fight after calling out Jaron Ennis? Like name me a guy at 140 you guys think that doesn't have a fight currently, that's very beatable, that's in the rankings. Like someone that just sounds like you know when you hear some opponents and they just sound like they're at the top ranked matchup. Who sounds like a top-ranked fighter that Teofimo Lopez would fight after calling out Jaron Ennis that he would beat? Maybe Pedraza? Maybe Pedraza? David Esther says Landolfo Delgado. That sounds very top-ranked. That's about as top-ranked as you can get right there. Landolfo Delgado sounds very top-ranked. Elvis Rodriguez, you know, that could be a top. You know, those are fighters. You know, that I could see Teofimo Lopez. He doing all this woofing and barking about Boots Ennis. And then he fight Landolfo Delgado. He fight them kind of guys. It's possible. Let me see what else. Jamel was undisputed just in time before Real Killers got there. Madrimar, Murtalazzi, Crawford, Virgil, even Spence. Jamel got to come out at 154 soon. Oh, that'd be great. I would love to see Jamel Charlo come back, and I want to see the old Jamel. If he comes back, I don't want to see Jamel. I don't want to see the Jamel Charlo fight Canelo coming in the ring. I need to see the loud, pissed off, passionate, belligerent, Mr. Keep Running Your Mouth. The guy that, you know, he's one of the few fighters in boxing that I can honestly say, like when he was angry, when he was pissed off, he fought better. I love when Jamel fought better, you know. But when he got civilized and started bowing down to Canelo, then yeah, that's when he wasn't fighting as well. We need that guy back, you know. Casanova says, "Nerd, are you asking if Porter is a great fighter?" Yes, he is. I think Sean Porter is a great fighter. I think Sean Porter, quiet as kept. If there was any welterweight apart from like Terrence Crawford, if there was any welterweight that deserves to get real Hall of Fame consideration, it's Sean Porter. The reason being is because Sean Porter, you can't talk about this era of welterweight boxing without talking about Sean Porter. He's that important because he fought everybody. He's the only guy that fought Brooks, Spence, Crawford, Thurman, Garcia. And yeah, he was like, what, 1-4 in those fights on paper? I really think he beat Thurman. And he gave Spence a really good fight. He gave Crawford a really good fight. He gave all Brook probably being the clearest out of those guys, apart from like Crawford stopping him. But like, he's a true throwback fighter. Like, you can't talk about this era of welterweight boxing without talking about him. He fought everybody. He was good for the sport. He was actually a net positive for the sport. I'm not saying Shawn Porter's a definite Hall of Famer, but I would say like he's borderline. Like, you know how they say in baseball when they do the Hall of Fame board, and they say like he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he's in the Hall of Very Good. Like, I'm not sure if Shawn Porter, I don't think he's maybe a Hall of Famer, but I think he's definitely in the Hall of Very Good. Like, he's teetering that line. Now, if he would have maybe beat a Spence or Thurman, if he would have got those decisions, then I think the narrative on his career is a lot different, but he wasn't able to get those. Hyro says, no, that's BS. Not Earl Spence. That means Ugas is just be there because he beat Manny, and you don't mention the robbery with Porter. Bro, Earl Spence is not anywhere close. Like, he's not a Hall of Famer. Earl Spence ducked Terrence Crawford for like 5 years, got his ass waxed when he did fight Terrence Crawford. Nah, he wasn't in enough important fights to even be, in my opinion, to be considered for the Hall of Fame. Now, maybe if he can go up to 54 and like stop a Sebastian Fundora, maybe he might start to get some consideration. But right now, no. Ugas is not a Hall of Famer because, yeah, he beat Manny Pacquiao when Manny was old and got him on short notice. But Ugas got waxed by Spence. Ugas lost to Amir Imam. No, absolutely not. No. Ugas is not close to a Hall of Famer. Good fighter, though. Good is not great. A C-class fighter at best, C+. Are you talking about Porter? Porter ain't no damn C-class fighter. You crazy. Just on, if you're talking about conditioning alone, Shawn Porter is already, just with his conditioning, the amount of time he's able to last in the ring and his output, that alone makes him a B level fighter. Boxing ability improved as he got older, so I think at his best he was a B. I think he was a B, maybe a B+ on certain nights, but he's not no C-class fighter. No way. Danny Garcia and Khan had a better resume than Porter. I wouldn't say Hall of Fame. Danny Garcia he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory for what he did at 140, but Danny Garcia failed to continue to capitalize on that because he didn't do anything at 47. Nothing worth of note at 47. And then Khan got knocked out at every stage of his career. I don't think Amir Khan. I think it's debatable if Amir Khan had a better career than Shawn Porter. He was in some bigger fights, but I don't think he had a better career than Shawn Porter. What about Tim Bradley, BT? Do you think he deserved to be in the Hall? Yes, I 1,000%. I think Tim should be in the Hall. He earned a spot in the Hall of Fame? Because you got to remember with Tim Bradley, people don't have context. They don't even watch these fighters' careers enough to have any proper context of how they were managed, the circumstances, how certain fights even happened. Tim Bradley, before he was even a top-ranked fighter, was promoted by Thompson Boxing, a smaller promotional company, wasn't even putting up a ton of money. He had to go on the road to England to fight Junior Witter to win his first world title, beat him, beat so many undefeated guys, beat Devin Alexander when he was undefeated, had a big name, beat, Luis Abregu, beat Jesse Vargas. That was a good win. He has a win on paper against Manny Pacquiao, whether we like it or not. He had the fight of the year with Ruslan Provodnikov, like he always talks about. So he gave people, like, he was constantly put in tough against real competition, undefeated guys, went on the road, won titles, was in fight of the year candidates, gave pieces of himself in the ring, gave you, the boxing fans, moments to remember himself by. And as we saw in the Robeisy Ramirez Espinoza fight, like, Robeisy Ramirez is a skilled fighter and was a gold medalist and things like that, but Robeisy Ramirez wasn't willing to go above and beyond the call of duty to achieve greatness, because being great in boxing isn't just about having skills and beating good fighters and all that stuff. No, it's okay when you have your orbital bone broke, your jaw broke, you dislocate your arm. Do you have the wherewithal to go above and beyond the call of duty and grind it out and win in those sort of circumstances. And a lot of fighters can't. Only a few fighters can do that. And the ones that can go above and beyond the call of duty, they deserve to be remembered. They deserve to be praised because it's a very tough thing to do in that ring when shit like that happens to a fighter. And Tim Bradley was able to do that. So my thing is, yeah, I think he is a Hall of Famer. I think it's hilarious when people start to criticize him not being in the Hall of Fame. Or him being in the Hall of Fame. He earned this spot in the Hall of Fame because he showed on more than one occasion that he was willing to go above and beyond the call of duty. And a lot of fighters that we like in boxing today, like if Jaron Ennis had the gumption that Tim Bradley had, and he was able to, if he took some of the fights Tim Bradley took in his career, then he'd probably be on the Hall of Fame trajectory himself. So if a lot of fighters took the Tim Bradley approach to boxing, their careers would be better off. Tim Bradley ducked Amir Khan for undisputed bout, so keep the same energy when you say Errol Spence is a duck for not fighting Crawford. Yeah, but the Khan thing wasn't a 5-year thing. The fucking Spence Crawford thing was a 5-year thing. Everybody has fighters they ducked, but Tim Bradley fought more people than he ducked, quote unquote. He fought way more people than you say he ducked. For every Khan, you got a Lamont Peterson, you got a 3 Manny Pacquiao fights. You know, come on. Spence was 3-belt unified. That means something. Sure, he ducked Bud, but how many fighters are able to get 3 belts in one division regardless? Spence is a great fighter. Yeah, like Spence. I wouldn't say Spence is a very good fighter, and I think if he had lived if Errol Spence had lived a more disciplined lifestyle outside the ring when he was younger, and he wasn't drinking in between fights and the car crash and all that, he had all the potential to be a great fighter. I think that, at his best, he was a very tough fighter at 47. High volume jab, physically strong, one of the best body punches in boxing. But he just didn't have that discipline for a long period of time. The fact that he was able to accomplish all that despite his discipline is a testament of what he could have been had he been more disciplined. Tim Bradley ducked Jesse Vargas. He vacated the belt to fight Manny. How did Tim Bradley duck Jesse Vargas? He fought Jesse Vargas and he beat him. What are you talking about? He ducked Jesse Vargas. You're saying he ducked a rematch with Jesse Vargas? Is that a route you really want to go down? Errol Spence made multiple defenses. Yeah, he did. I'll give him that. 147. You are like opera. You get a great. We all. Yeah, everyone is great. Everyone is great at 47. Pacquiao is great, Floyd is great, Keith Thurman is great, Spence is great, Bradley is great, Sean Porter is great, Danny Garcia is great, Robert Guerrero is great, Andre Berto is great. They're all great. They're all great in their own special way. But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Going live, talking boxing. We're an hour in. Let me see what we got right now. I'm not sure how much time my Wi-Fi, this little box right here, will give me, but how long we got. If it cuts out, if the live cuts out, it's because I ran out of space on this. So just giving you guys a heads up. But we're going to try to go 2 hours. We're going to try to give you guys the 2-hour live today. We got 57 minutes left. Porter can't be in the Hall of Fame for being second best. In 100 years, he can... Okay, well, then neither can Errol Spence. Neither can Errol Spence, because Errol Spence was definitely second best as well. David F. says, I don't think Spence is or was a great fighter. I think Errol Spence from 2016 to from 2016 to 2019, I think he was a very good fighter with a potential to be great. Like if he was being disciplined. He didn't have the discipline to be great, but I think he had a chance. He had a chance. I give him that. I'm not gonna say and be disingenuous and act like I wasn't an Errol Spence fan, act like, and act like, I didn't think highly of him at one time. I thought so highly of Errol Spence at one point in time that I actually had Errol Spence do an intro for the channel. He said, "Hey, this is Errol Spence. You're watching True." Like I loved Errol Spence at one point. Am I still in Japan? Yes, I'm still in Japan, and I'll be here in Japan for quite some time still. So expect more content on the way. Yes, these are great fighters. Bud is generational. Who at 147 was above Spence and Porter besides Crawford? Give me some names. Nobody was most. Crawford knocked out everyone he fought. He never went the distance at 147. So I give Crawford his flowers for what he did at 47. Loved him at 47. 54 post Spence. I've been kind of getting tired of him, but 47, I love Crawford. Nah, Porter was like the fourth best. He was behind. Truth be told, if y'all want the honest truth, I think if Kell Brook would have never have taken the damn Gennady Golovkin fight, I think he would have beat all these guys. I think he would have beat them all. I think if Kell Brook doesn't fight Gennady Golovkin in September 2016, he would have beat Errol Spence. He would have beat maybe not Crawford. I mean, Crawford was always gonna be the toughest one. So maybe he still loses to Crawford, but I think he would have beat Thurman. He already had beaten Porter. I think he would have given Crawford a much better fight than he gave him in those 4 rounds before he got beat up. Because if you remember, like, before Kell Brook got knocked out in that 4th round, he was finding a home for the jab. He was finding a home for the right hand. There was some swelling that Brook had put on the face of Crawford even in those 4 rounds. So I just think that we never got to see the best of Kell Brook because he took the money. Eddie Hearn ruined his career by making him fight Golovkin and not unifying with Jesse Vargas. And that's what that was like. That to me, like, if there was ever a fighter, apart from Andre and apart from maybe like a Jaron Ennis right now, the most mismanaged fighter I've seen since I've been covering boxing on YouTube is Kell Brook. It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. BT, does Sego have a current favorite fighter or pound for pound names? I don't know who his current favorite fighter is. I just know when I interviewed him, as you saw in the interview, he said his favorite fighter was Alexis Arguello, which makes sense if you watch him fight. He kind of has some Arguello in him. Kell Brook was holding Porter the whole night, or are you talking about Brook or Spence? You can't deny Spence wasn't a star. When Teofimo Lopez has fought on the stage like Spence, when has Teofimo Lopez fought on the stage like Spence and made the money like him? Teo beat Loma and went back to fighting at Resorts World. Well, yeah, that's more of like a promotional thing. Like, we know, like, I like Top Rank, but Top Rank ain't really trying to spend no money on these big time venues. And that shit really, really a star. I'd rather see Beterbiev move up and face Jai Pataya and for Benavidez to make his own legacy. Because guys like Iglesias, Munguia, Lester Martinez, and Pacheco will eventually, yeah. And then even apart from those guys you named, you still got guys in the division. You got like I don't know if he's ever gonna be active enough to get ranked, but like Atif Overton's a light heavyweight I like. You got Paolo Okozo from Australia, who's really good. There's some good fighters at light heavyweight. Tank said Eddie Hearn is a snake. It's not far. That's not like most promoters are, in one way or the other. Teo will not fight Boots. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. They're saying they're talking about it. They're saying it's going to be a thing. So, I got faith. I got faith that the big blockbuster fight can happen because it makes sense. Like, sometimes you hear these hypothetical matchups and you hear that promoters are in talks to make fights happen, but it's rare that they ever make as much sense as this one. Thurman was above Spence and Porter. I personally think Porter beats Thurman, but he didn't get the decision. But I'll say this: Keith Thurman, when he was the number 1 welterweight, that's when the welterweight division was at its best because Keith Thurman was fighting people. I'm not mad at that because honestly, Errol Spence really never proved that he was better than Keith Thurman. Like, let's keep it real. Like, he never really proved that he was better than Keith Thurman. He never fought Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman never fought him. Errol Spence didn't fight Manny Pacquiao because he pulled out. Thurman lost to Pacquiao. Keith Thurman beat Danny Garcia. Errol Spence beat Danny Garcia. Keith Thurman beat Sean Porter. Errol Spence beat Sean Porter. They both fought common opponents, beat certain guys. The resumes are very similar. Only thing you could say is maybe like Errol Spence was a 3-belt champion and Thurman was a 2-belt champion. But like, there's not really much in comparing Thurman and Spence. Thurman did avoid Spence early in his career. But what's funny is like, you could kind of consider that situation kind of like a Crawford, Jaron Ennis thing. Because like Spence at the time was kind of like a Jaron. He was in the Jaron Ennis position. Thurman was a unified champion. He was trying to get bigger fights. Spence wasn't on his immediate to-do list. But They didn't fight. So like, yeah, he didn't want to fight Spence, right? But then Spence didn't want to fight him. So 2 wrongs don't make a right. 2 wrongs definitely don't make a right. Spence had some chances to fight Thurman too. He didn't want to fight Keith Thurman. So neither one of them really proved who was better than the other. Keith Thurman, who was better than Kel, nah, I don't think that. I'm sorry. Like, I don't think Keith, if they would have fought, like, I know Keith Thurman had a better resume, and he had a better career, but at his absolute best, I don't think Keith Thurman would have beat Kell Brook. Pre-Golovkin Kell Brook, I don't think Keith Thurman would have beat him. No. Keith Thurman, first of all, he showed in his career like that. I wouldn't say he was like, he wasn't like extremely chinny, but you know, you could buckle Keith Thurman, you could hurt Keith Thurman. He was hurt by Collazo to the body. He was dropped by Pacquiao. He was hurt again by Pacquiao in the later rounds. Somebody with the straight right hand like Kell Brook and the pinpoint shots he throws up down the middle on Keith Thurman, and with the way Keith Thurman loved to exchange back in those early days at welterweight, I think Keith Thurman would have been damn near a tailor-made match for Kell Brook. I think Kell Brook would have beat the brakes off Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman wouldn't have been durable enough for 12 rounds, and I don't think Keith Thurman was jab was better than Kell Brook. I don't think his right hand was better than Kell Brook. Maybe he would have caught him with something big and hurt him, but I don't know. I just think Kell Brook was better. I think pre-Golovkin Kell Brook was better than Keith Thurman. And I remember that was a fight that Keith Thurman wanted at one point in time, and that was a fight that Kell Brook wanted at one point in time, and it just never happened. But that's one fight that I wish we could have got. And it's funny because we've gotten way off topic. We're talking about, somehow this live started off being about Teofimo Lopez versus Boots, and then I said I was going to talk about WBC convention stuff, and now all of a sudden we're talking about the welterweight division of the 2010s. So I want to get back to the WBC stuff. As far as other stuff that happened at the WBC convention, like I saw that Top Rank petition for Bruce Carrington to fight the winner and get a title shot of the winner between Fulton and Figueroa. The WBC denied the request because they have Ray Vargas, who's still there, and that's why they denied it. So Bruce Carrington is not going to be able to go that route. Bruce Carrington probably is going to do what most top-ranked fighters do, which is go the WBO route. Maybe Espinosa vacates and he can fight like an Arnold Kagai for the vacant belt. That's probably what winds up happening with him. So that happened there for him. Sean Porter, who's training, you know, since we're talking about Sean Porter has actually recently got into training, and Sean Porter is training Marquise Taylor, who's a pretty solid fighter. I like Marquise Taylor. He was there in Germany to petition for Marquise Taylor to be ranked top 15 in the 154 division. The WBC stated that they were going to rank Marquise Taylor number 19, and if he wins on tomorrow, that they will consider ranking him top 15. So that happened as well. Marquise Taylor, he's a guy that you could say right now is a fringe contender, working his way up into being a contender, being trained by Sean Porter, so that makes things kind of interesting for him. Awkward guy, high volume fighter, already beat Yoelvis Gomez, took his O, so good fighter, Marquise Taylor, one to watch out for. You had Blair Cobbs petitioning to get a title shot with Mario Barrios. The WBC said that they will not honor that request right now. But if Blair keeps winning and being victorious, that they would love to have him fight for the title, which I think is great. Like, Blair Cobbs is now starting to become a ranked fighter in these sanctioning bodies. He's ranked in the WBO. It sounds like he's probably going to get ranked in the WBC sooner rather than later. So I would love to see Blair Cobbs get ranked and fight for any world title. I think he's good for the division. I think he's exciting. I think, you know, he's someone that if he was to somehow get his hands on a belt, it would be good for boxing. Blair Cobbs brings the excitement. His fights are exciting. His personality is exciting. He's fun to hear in interviews. I mean, he's a net positive for boxing. We got to get Blair Cobbs up there, man. So, you know, there was that. What else happened? There were so many things that happened at the WBC convention. If there was anything I haven't touched on from the WBC, guys, please drop it in the chat because I can't remember everything right now. I'm just going off memory of things that I was reading this morning. What else happened? Well, 154, 130. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything. I saw Raymond Ford got ranked pretty highly. Raymond Ford, I think it's like number 5 in the WBC now. So shout out to Raymond Ford. You guys know he's a personal favorite here on True School Sports. I like Raymond Ford. BT, do you have an itinerary or did you just go with the flow and go into Japan? No, I very much have an itinerary. for Japan. I know exactly when I'm going to Tokyo. I know exactly when where I'm going after Tokyo. I know exactly which interview I have next. I'm pretty detail orientated this time around. Last time I came here, that was more like going with the flow. you know. This time, because I know Japan a lot better, it's kind of hard to go with the flow when you kind of know how things work. So guys beg for rings at the convention. Yeah, man, it's pretty fun. Like, these conventions are pretty cool. I like going because I went last year. I went last year to the WBA convention around this time last year. I was at the WBA convention, and I actually went up there. I actually went up there to the WBA convention with Gilberto Mendoza and all those guys up there. And I actually petitioned for a fighter. I petitioned for Ian Green to get a higher ranking at middleweight. And they actually gave him a higher ranking at middleweight. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, essentially, think it like I like to compare it to like, Capitol Hill. Politics, I compare it to American politics because a lot of times in U.S. politics, these politicians and these lobbyists will go to Capitol Hill and they'll lobby for certain policies and things they want implemented economically or policies they want changed. And it's the same thing with boxing. These guys that probably don't even deserve a ranking, they'll have themselves, the promoters or the representatives, they'll go and petition for a higher ranking. And sometimes it'll be granted, sometimes it won't be granted. And it's good that they have these meetings because there are some fighters that do get overlooked that do definitely deserve higher rankings. So sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good. It just depends on who it is. What the fuck is Ian Green? Ian Green is one of the best middleweights in the world. And that's why I went up there and I petitioned for him because he's with Don King. And obviously you guys know when guys are locked in with Don King, Don doesn't have a great reputation for treating fighters well. So I went up there. Yeah, Ian Green, he hasn't gotten those big fights at middleweight. But he was ranked like at the time last year when I went up there, he was ranked like number 9. He was ranked number 9 in the WBA. And they had like Danny Garcia ranked like number 6 and guys that didn't have, fighters that didn't have, I think, from what I know about boxing, because I know I know a little bit about boxing, there were certain fighters that did not even deserve the higher ranking at middleweight, like Danny Garcia and Sergio Martinez. They didn't deserve the higher ranking over Ian Green, who had been fighting actively, who had been, probably one of the more active guys in the top 15. And, I went up there and I lobbied for him. And you got a higher ranking. And I think now, as it stands, I think Ian Green is the number 4 WBA ranked contender. So I'm hoping in 2025 he can be a guy that goes ahead and fights in big fights, because I think more people should know who Ian Green is. He's a good fighter. And I think, I know that there were some big time promoters who I won't name, but there were some big promoters. One of the big 4 promoters wanted to sign him, but they couldn't sign him because he's with Don King, and that's a hard contract to get out of. So, yeah. No, it's politics. It's politics at the highest degree. My man says, what do you think about what the WBC is doing with Okoli? BT, I think they're putting him above Martin Bakole. Lawrence Okoli, I know he had his heavyweight debut. I haven't had a chance to see him fight at heavyweight, but I don't have an opinion yet. I haven't had too much time to think about or process Okoli as a heavyweight. I'm not even sure where they ranked him, so you got to tell me where they ranked him so I could have an opinion. But good for him. Good for Lawrence Okoli. He was. I want to see what he does at heavyweight. Because he's at heavyweight, he's not going to have the same advantage he had upon guys at cruiserweight. When he fought, when Okoli fought, what's his name? When Lawrence Okoli was fighting, let's say like Isaac Chamberlain, who I like, he's my good fighter, but like he had a size advantage over a lot of guys at 68 or cruiserweight, I should say, and he's not gonna have that same size advantage at heavyweight. So I'm really interested to see when he starts fighting guys with a name, guys who are bigger, these 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". I want to see basically like what he does at heavyweight. My boy BT is keeping us on the DL. He got a female there, and he's bringing us good Hey, calm down, man. Calm down. You can't be exposing me like that, man. Don't do that, champ. Don't do that. Good to see you, champ. Good to see you, Philippians 413. I should go to a J-League game if I get a chance. I mean, I've thought about that. That's not like super, super high on the list, but I would love, if that's something I might consider doing towards the end of my trip. I still want to go see sumo wrestling. I still want to go to some fights. I want to go to some gyms I haven't gone to. I want to go to Cosmo World, this amusement park in Yokohama. There's a lot to go see still, you know? Falling Star says, I wasn't here for the last few lives. BT, could you give an update on the Inoue thing? There's not really any update on it. I mean, I'm still awaiting for my ticket. I'll be finding out next. I'm pretty sure I'm going to the fight because somebody that I know that's very, 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 very connected to Japanese boxing is getting me a ticket. So I should be going to the fight. I'm gonna try to get into the weigh-in, but I don't know how that's gonna work. So we'll see how it goes. But there's no real update on it. You know, I'm not really pressed about getting the Inoue interview. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Trust me, I have enough. I have so many great interviews coming up with prominent names in Japanese boxing. So if it happens, cool. Like, I'd be blessed. That'd be great. But if not, then it is what it is. BT has been exposed. Exposed. Exposed, that's right. Fix Electronics, what's good, champ? The Untouchable Empire, that's right. That's right. Shout out to all 33 of you here. Make sure you smash the like button if you haven't already. Super chat, all that good stuff. Have you seen Godzilla out there yet? Yeah. In Shinjuku, in Tokyo, they have a Godzilla thing, and I went and I seen that like 3 weeks ago. Like a month ago, I seen it. And they, believe it or not, they actually have a Godzilla amusement park here in Japan. So I don't think I want to be able to check that out this time in Japan, but you know, it's on the list for like maybe Japan 2026. Because after I leave Japan this time, I probably can't come back. Maybe I will come back, maybe I won't. But you know, some things I'm gonna have to save for Japan 2026. One guy I'm not very high on is Moses Itama. I had to see him beat someone. I think Moses is skilled, but I think he is cursed with a bad chin. We'll see. We will definitely see. Moses is big, he's strong, he's got speed, he's got power. You know, he's in that stage now where, like, right now everyone thinks he's great, and he hasn't had that fight that every prospect inevitably has, where he looks less than ordinary. So we'll see. Is Boo Boo going to be on the Tank undercard? I don't know, and if I could be 1,000% honest, I don't even care. Like, Demetrius Andrade doesn't care about his own career, so why should True School Sports and BT care? I like him; he's a fantastic fighter, and if he fights, I'll get excited about it. But like, I'm not stressing about Demetrius Andrade because Demetrius Andrade isn't stressed about Demetrius Andrade. Somebody asked me earlier, do I think he should retire? I mean, I don't know. We can do what he wants to do because he's going to do it anyway. So. If he fights again, cool. If not, you know, I'm not pressed about it. Have I seen the Christmas lights in Tokyo, BT? I haven't yet. I will probably next week when I'm there. Damn, you should have went by the Godzilla instead of Monster. That would have been a crazy. Inoue should have went by Godzilla instead of the Monster. If he would have went by Godzilla, with him being as famous as he is now, I wonder if people in Japan would have sued him, because that's very possible. You know, they might have sued him for breaking copyright laws and making all that money off the Godzilla name. So, you know, that's probably why. If there ever was any consideration for Inoue being called Godzilla, then it's probably why, because he probably breaks some sort of Japanese copyright law, and and then boom, now you got a few couple millions. Inoue is not more famous than Shohei Ohtani. No, he's not. But nobody is. Shohei Ohtani is the most famous Japanese person on earth right now. There's nobody in Japan more famous than Ohtani. Like, you can go anywhere in Japan. I mean, you can walk by a tire shop, you'll see Ohtani's face. You walk by the udon ramen noodle place, you see Shohei Ohtani's face. He's famous. What do you think about Abdullah Mason's fighting Rolly's last opponent? That's a big step back in matchmaking. Manuel Jaimez is not that good. He's got very slow feet. Doesn't punch particularly hard. And he comes forward. Rolly was able to outbox him and just beat him off of sheer athletic ability. And Rolly, you know, that really says everything. So I just think that that fight is designed to give Abdullah Mason a highlight reel knockout. And if he doesn't knock out Manuel, I'll tell you right now, I love Abdullah Mason as a fighter and as a person. I know him. In fact, I just talked to Abdullah and his brother on FaceTime like a month ago while I was out here in Japan. And I'll tell you like this: if Abdullah don't knock out Manuel James, his stock will take a hit even with me. And I love the kid. So that's what I think about it. You like to use out-of-the-ring problems when it comes to Hrgovic or Ota Beck. Andre was on the Boxing Voice and talked about some tough situations outside the ring in the last year and a half. I have to watch that interview. I haven't seen it, but inform me, like what tough out-the-ring situations are there? I have to check it out. In regards to Hrgovic and Ota Beck, the last time I mentioned Ota Beck on this channel, I specifically said that one of Ota Beck's out-of-the-ring problems was self-inflicted. He fired Timur Ibragimov, which was retarded on his end, so that's his fault. And as far as the other thing you're referring to with Ota Beck, which was the weight, all I said was he didn't look like the Ota Beck I seen in the gym, which is the truth. And I'm sure Raymond Ford didn't look like the Raymond Ford he looked like in the gym, so they were both depleted, so it was an even fight. He lost fair and square. Hrgovic's dad died like right before the Zhang fight. So if Andre lost some loved ones, then, you know, I didn't know that. So that's unfortunate, you know, and my heart goes out to him. But Andre's had a whole career of making terrible choices, time after time again. That's the truth. That can't be refuted. As much as I like him and as much as I had hoped for his career to go better than it went, that literally cannot be refuted. But if he comes back, I hope he comes back better. I hope he comes back and reminds the world and even me how great he is in the ring when he's right. And makes me remember why I was a Demetrius Andrade fan in the first place. But yeah, that's what I'll say on that. I didn't know that. So you put me on game. I have to go check that out. People forget, have you heard anything about Ashton Silva? People had not forgotten he got knocked out by the body guy. I think him and Floyd Schofield were supposed to fight. They were going to fight. Floyd Schofield and Body were supposed to fight. I haven't heard anything about Ashton Silva, but you know, hopefully he can get back on track. You know, it's very hard to come back from a knockout loss like that. So the odds are definitely stacked against him. I like Ashton Silva. He's a nice person. He's a decent fighter. You know, can punch, you know, but just had some flaws that never got corrected, and he ran into a puncher and boom. Career potentially derailed. So we'll see. What are your thoughts on the WBC tournament? I've heard about it. You know, so from my understanding, from what I've read, the WBC wants to have a tournament in like 3 different weight classes. I know it was featherweight and like 3 other weight classes. And it's going to be primarily with guys that are like, you know, 10 fights or less, 8 fights or less, you know, fighters early in their career, which I like because, like here in Japan, that's part of Japanese boxing culture. They have tournaments in Japan. Like in Japan, they have a very famous tournament called the Rookie of the Year tournament, where they match fighters with like the same thing that the WBC is trying to do. They already have that here in Japan. That's why a lot of these Japanese fighters, even if they got a loss or 2 losses or 3 losses, when they come to the world level, they prepared because they already been in tough fights early. You know, they know how to deal with pressure early in their careers. So I always like tournaments. When it comes to boxing, I like tournaments just so long as they're well ran and not like the Super 6. Yeah, I'm all for tournaments. I think boxing should have more tournaments because it doesn't make any sense why they have most fighters coming up as an amateur. You fight in a tournament format. But then when you get to the pros, fighters almost never have to fight in a tournament format. So I feel like if we could get more tournament organization and tournament formats in boxing, it would bode very well for the sport. It would bode very well for like just boxing in general. Yeah, but if I was being harsh, listen, fighters are all humans. I know we all go through things. I go through things. We all go through things. My heart goes out to Andre. I had some really high hopes for him, and then like when he dropped the title to not fight Johnny Beck, that's kind of when I was just like, you know what, I'm over it. I'm over defending the guy. So however long he's in a box, I just hope he gets the best out of whatever's left of his career, and be cool to see him become champion at 168. That'd be something. If he can become a champion at 168, 3-division champion, that'd be a great way to go out. So I'm hoping something like that, maybe a Caleb Plant fight or something like that. But yeah, it's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire, live, chilling in Japan, going live, talking boxing. Get your questions in. We'll give you guys what it's becoming kind of normal now in Japan. The 2 hour live from Japan. Let me see how much data I got left on this box. I don't know if it's gonna be 2 hours, but it'll be close to 2 hours today. So, leave your comments down below. Hit that like button, super chat, all that good stuff. We here talking to the people, talking boxing. I told you about Nachinga, and you don't speak the same about him when he won the belt and he lost it. There's nothing to speak about. He lost, and there's been no news about him. What do you mean I don't speak this? I still like Nachinga. He's a two-time champion who showed immense determination to lose the belt and get it back. And guess what? He might do it again. I'm still a huge Nachinga fan. There just hasn't been any fights or news to speak of. He's been pretty quiet since the loss. Johnny Beck fainted making weight recently. Yeah, he did. BT, how much is it to upgrade to unlimited? I don't know. I gotta look into that. This ain't even my thing. It's my friend's. Johnny Beck is also wasting his prime at 160. He is. He definitely is. There's some good fights there, but like, be cool to see him at 68. Throw his name in the mix, Oscar Collazo is another one of the future greats. He could be. He's shaping up to really do some great things. He's the man at 105 right now. Be cool to see him, if at all possible. It's going to be hard because of sanctioning fees, but it'd be cool to see him get some good investment from the Saudis and become undisputed at 105 and make good money for himself. And who knows, maybe go to 108, start fighting some guys there. Johnny Beck has no big fights at 160 other than Lara, Carlos Adames, and Shiraz. And those aren't even big fights. Let's be real. Those aren't even big fights. He could fight Eubank. I wouldn't mind him seeing fight Chris Eubank. That'd be a cool fight. But I don't think Eubank would want that fight. In fact, forget Eubank. I'm trying to tell you, not even I think, I know Eubank's manager don't want that fight. Because there's no money in that fight. I know how he thinks. So they won't do that fight. Monte Carlo card tomorrow. I don't know. Is there a Monte Carlo card tomorrow? I'm keeping up with boxing and I'm doing a pretty good job. But like, so there'll be some cards that been slipping through the cracks of me. Who's fighting on the Monte Carlo card tomorrow? Lara is the most famous champion in that division. Yeah, and who cares? Lara, I don't know why you like Lara so much. Lara is like, I don't know. I don't want to talk bad. I'm trying to not talk bad about nobody today. I'm in a good mood. Is Munguia tomorrow or Saturday? Because the last time he was Friday. I don't even know when he's fighting. Is he fighting this week? The only fights that I know that are happening this week, I know Pro Box is right now. That's happening. I know that Raul Cordial is fighting Rocha on Saturday for you guys in the States. And then you got Marquise Taylor on Red Owl Boxing. Those are the only 3 cards that I have to memory right now this week. Monte Carlo is strictly a Matchroom thing. Matchroom's been doing cards there since like 2017. Well, yeah, Munguia is just I'm not gonna criticize Munguia. Like, this is the one time he'll fight a can, and I won't give him a pass. I won't go crazy on him because he's fought 4 times this year. He fought John Ryder. He fought was it Canelo? He fought Bazinian, and he fought this guy. It's about 4 times in a year. Because Lara is living himself the American dream. Lara got us a nice car, a house, and a fine woman, defective from Cuba to have a better life. That's cool. Ugas did the same thing. And you love Ugas too, so it checks out. BT, can you put in a good word to one of these pro box ring card girls for me? I need to do that for myself. I gotta do that for myself. Just ring card girls, but shit. A couple of the staff members too. Shout out to pro thing. Panel don't want the no one does. That's not true. Johnny Beck is not some boogeyman. There's guys that want Johnny Beck. It's the matchmakers in his team that don't want certain fights too. It's both. It's a little bit of both. Pacheco is getting ready to fight Steve Nelson. I'm tired of Munguia getting a pass. I mean, Steve Nelson's a good little puncher. I know people are getting really excited about that matchup because Steve Nelson's a Terrence Crawford. He's like Terrence Crawford's little friend and training partner. So good for Steve Nelson. Steve Nelson gets a notable fight, to show what he can do, and maybe put his name on the map. Apart from just being Terrence Crawford's friend, I ain't against that. But yeah, thank God boxing's getting to that point of the year where things are picking up again. I'm happy about that, you know? And by the way, if y'all got any non-boxing related questions, ask that shit too, because we just chilling right now. We're gonna walk. And I'm gonna walk in a new direction today. I don't normally walk this way, but they got like a little park here. I wanna go walk to this park. BT in Japan, True School Japan. In my second home. At this point, I consider Japan like a second home. Spend enough time here. Did I get a chance to watch Iglesias' last fight? Who did he fight his last fight? Refresh my memory. I might have, but I can't remember. Who did he fight? The Ukrainian guy Iglesias fought was like a Karen. Great pop. I don't know. I seen some highlights. I don't think I watched it, but I seen some highlights. Iglesias is good, man. Southpaw, Cuban, power puncher, Pedro. I did watch it actually. Was it on a top rank card? BT, are you gonna keep an eye on Eric Rosas and Carlos Cancelas since they're fighting for Kenshiro's belts? Yeah, Carlos Cancelas is fighting Panya, and yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Do you miss American food, or is it the same you would eat? Lots of McDonald's out here also. I mean, I don't eat McDonald's all the time. You know, I'm not like that much of a fat ass. But nah, as far as like, do I miss American food? I mean, if I really miss American food, they have American food here. Like, you can get McDonald's here. You can get KFC. You can get Burger King. You can get a lot of different types of American fast food. But I mean, it'd be like certain types of American food. But like not really. I mean, there's a lot of great Japanese food, and they got this one fast food place that I do like, and it don't even taste like fast food. That's a crazy thing. It don't taste like fast food. I don't feel like I ate fast food when I eat it, which is Moe's Burger. It's like this burger chain here in Japan. I've been there like 12 times since I've been here. Like I'm not even playing. I've been there like 12 times since I've been in Japan, and it's not real heavy on your stomach. You know, I like it. So yeah, Moe's Burger. That's one of the go-tos. Do they sell pizza in Japan? Yes, they do, but I never had pizza in Japan. I've had, and they have a lot of Italian restaurants in Japan too, but I haven't had any yet. So those are like on my to-do list. When is Angelo Leo's next fight? Supposedly, I mean, I don't know when exactly. I've heard all kinds of dates. I don't want to get out here and start saying certain dates and times and things and places and opponents, but because I don't want to get in trouble. But there's nothing really concrete yet. There hasn't been any official announcement. I've heard certain things from certain people, and I've heard certain things from other people close to the situation. So I don't know. I just want them to announce it soon. BT, have you gained any weight? Maybe a little bit, but not that. I don't think it's that much. Only people who see me, I guess when I go to the States, I'll find out. When I go to the States, if people start saying I look fat, then I guess that means I gained weight and need to go back to the gym. But I've been walking around a lot. I've been drinking a lot of water. But I've also been eating like crazy out here too, like a lot of food. So I would say I probably gained at least a pound and a half, maybe 2. Oh, it's a green light. Okay. Sweet. We got like 20 minutes left, so make sure you guys get your questions in, because in 20 minutes I'm getting off this. If my box still has enough data on it. It's badass to be in Japan. Would like to be there, but too much hours on the plane would be claustrophobic with the little windows. I'll be honest, man. Like, I've had a problem with that. I mean, it is a long flight. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a very, very long flight. Yeah, it takes mental fortitude. When are you going to see a great South Floridian fighter? Teofimo don't count. Teofimo does count. Teofimo Lopez learned to box in South Florida, so no matter how many times he says he's from New York, he didn't learn how to fight in New York. You know, he didn't learn how to fight in New York at all. So he's a South Florida fighter. And we were already seeing great South Florida fighters. You ever heard of Glenn Johnson from Miami? You ever heard of Randall Bailey, like the hardest puncher in boxing? Those are South Florida fighters. But we got plenty of them. We got Teofimo. We got Lorenzo Medina. We got Lawrence BT Newton. We got Dominique Trapp Francis. We got Eric Tudor. We got some young guys coming up. I know I'm missing a couple names right now. Xander Zayas, South Florida, another one. Daniel Bailey. We got some good fighters, you know. None of them you could say are great right now, but good fighters, talented fighters. They got potential. We'll see what happens, but South Florida, stand up. We here. BT, what's good? Been a minute, man. Hope all's well with you. Impossible, my dude. Thank you, man. I'm doing my thing. I'm in Japan right now. I've been in Japan for like a month. I'll be here like a month longer. So things are great. Things are exceptional. Getting a chance to go to boxing gyms here in Japan and interview top fighters. So I've really been enjoying that, and it's probably been the best trip of my life, to be honest with you. It's like this has been one of the most peaceful times and happiest and joyful times of my entire life. So I'm really enjoying it because it's been a very long, tough, challenging year for me, but a rewarding year too at the same time. So good to see you. How many hours is it to fly to Japan? So from LA, because whenever I go to Japan, I never, like when I was living in South Florida, I didn't fly from South Florida to Japan, and I didn't fly from Vegas to Japan. I flew from LA to Japan. So from LA to Japan, I always fly from LA. From LA to Japan, it's roughly, I think it was like 13 or 14 hours, something like that. It wasn't in the double digits. It was something like that. It was something crazy like that. How expensive is your trip in Japan been, BT? I've been thinking of going to, it hasn't been too bad. It hasn't been that bad. I think now is a great time to go. If you're an American, go right now if you can. Because if inevitably, like, economies, they go up and they go down. So like sometimes, like at some point the yen is going to get stronger again and it'll be a little more expensive to come here. But right now, it's good. Did you learn anything good about their style? Like their boxing style or like their style of clothing? As far as their boxing style, I've seen them train a lot more now this time than last time. So what I can say about like Japanese boxing and their style, it's just really like very, very much attention to details with the fundamentals, man. Like I always knew this watching them fight, but like just like their fighters throw their punches like the same way every time down the middle, which is good. I mean, it's good because they get a good solid foundation, but if they run into a fighter who's got some fundamentals and can be unpredictable too and change things up, that's where a lot of Japanese fighters I think can come unstuck. But you know, I just like how boxing is ran here. Like I wish boxing in the entire world was. I wish everywhere in boxing was ran like Japan, like where the sport gets treated like it's a sport and not just some sort of entertainment product. Because they put these dudes in tournaments, 10 fights in. You know, dudes in Japan, fighters from Japan, anybody from Japan that makes it to the world level is good. Eduardo Baez is fighting right now. He might go to business, but he's getting pieced up. I feel like Leo should have stopped him. Angelo probably could have stopped him in that fight, but he won like 8 rounds. He beat him pretty easily. It wasn't Baez was game, but it wasn't a hard fight for Angelo. He won 8 rounds, and even though Navarrete got the stoppage, like Navarrete was down on the cards. He was down like 1 or 2 of the judges' scorecards before the stoppage. Angelo was up the whole fight. But yeah, it worked out well because it gave Venato's manager the confidence to take the Angelo fight, and you saw what happened to Venato when he got into the big fight. You saw what happened, so I'm not complaining about the Baez fight. Yeah, it's very, very organized. That's what I like about it. It's just very, very organized. Even like the process of me having to go and get these interviews, that's organized. Like, you got to be organized when you come to Japan. You can't just go walk into the gym and start interviewing fighters in most cases. You got to like make appointments and schedule a time, which is cool, because once you actually go through that process and they do give you your time, they give you their time, you have their time. You can take 20, 30 minutes to interview them. So it's different, but definitely something I'm taking a lot of good things from their culture and kind of implementing it about how I do things. So it's pretty cool. Did you see any guys that's as skilled or guys better than Inoue? Thus far, no. Inoue, I mean, forget Japan. Forget Japan. In the world, there's not many guys as skilled or as good as Inoue. There's only a couple. Only a handful of guys. He's a special fighter. But I've seen some pretty good fighters. Seen a pretty good fighter so far, and I'm sure I'll see more before I leave. Have you met Kenshiro yet, BT? I mean, I met him. I met Kenshiro last time I was here and I interviewed him. I don't know if you saw it. I'm sure you did. But I actually did get in contact with him because he does follow me on Instagram. And I got a hold of him, and I'm supposed to go see him soon. But I don't know when exactly. So we're still trying to organize the time. But he's on the list. He's on the list of guys to go see. You know? I think Angelio was good. I wish good things for him. Me too. Sports Multi-Universe says, I'm from Broward County as well. Thank you for answering my question, brother. Hey, shout out to Broward County. That's my area. That's where I grew up. I'm a product. I always say it. I'm a product of the early 2000s. I'm a product of the Broward County education system, for better or for worse. So, yeah, shout out to Broward County. I'm from Dania Beach, so yeah, Dania Beach, Hollywood, Pembroke Pines, Weston, Deerfield Beach, the whole Broward County, you know. By the next time you'll be in Japan is when Gary Russell Jr. will fight again. It's fucked up. It's messed up, Hyro. Yeah, man. These are for those who want to see. These are the sights right now. Just chilling. Just chilling. This is it. These are the sights and sounds of quiet part of Japan. David says, I think outside of Espinoza, Angelo, and Nick Ball, 126 is kind of obvious to me. It is. I mean, it's an unification fight. They're both with promotional companies that have aligned themselves with Riyadh season, so I don't know if that's a Saudi fight, but we'll see. I don't really follow that division like you do. Can you put me up on game? On the featherweight division? I mean, featherweight's a great weight class. I think it's the best weight class in boxing. If that's the division you're referring to. I think Espinoza versus Angelo is actually an easier fight to make because Angelo wins his next fight when it happens. I think Angelo versus Espinoza in the summer of 2025, like in Las Vegas, would be perfect. One's Mexican, the other one's Mexican-American. They both have been doing things that have captured a lot of attention in the boxing world. So yeah, the Marlins are like Pro Box, so they must be successful. The Marlins are not like Pro Box because the Pro Box actually invests money into their product. The Marlins do not invest money into their product. That's why the Marlins have been trash for like the majority of the last 20 years, give or take 5 years out of the 20. 15 out of the last 20 years, the Marlins been trash. So you can't call the Marlins like Pro Box. Pro Box invests money into their product. The Marlins do not invest money into their product. Therefore, the Marlins cannot be like Pro Box. Pro Box is a sustainable, well-ran company. The Marlins are not a sustainable, well-ran company. And the Marlins have not won a World Series in 21 years, going on 22. So, yeah, we here in Japan. Last 10 minutes, guys. Last 10 minutes, and then I'm going to get up and out of here. What's a good fundamental boxing gym in Broward? So if you're just starting in boxing, and you're just trying to learn the basics of boxing, a good gym to just learn the fundamentals of boxing, you can start where I started, which is in Dania Beach. Canino's Boxing Gym is a great gym. You'll learn basics there. That's a good place. If not, Canino's, you can go to your local PAL program if you're young. What else you got? Then you got like Beta Bay Boxing Gym, but that's kind of like a private gym. That's like pros. What other gyms are there? Broward. Yeah, I'll just say just go to Canino's. I think Canino's Boxing Gym is a good gym. That's where I started. Japan dudes are good boxers. They are tough. They are tough and fundamentally sound. Trying to think though, what other gyms are there in Broward? Probably say Canino's is probably the best for just like fundamentals. Fundamentals and learning how to get in shape. That's probably even more than the fundamentals. I think what they do the best at Canino's is they'll teach you how to get in shape. Like you'll get in shape. Can you read them Japan words? No, I can't. I don't understand because in Japan, just so you know, in Japan, they have like the alphabet. So like take that sign for example. The letters that are written like down, that's I don't know if that's kanji or katakana, but like they have different forms of the alphabet. So like sometimes when you read things in Japanese, if it goes horizontally like this, sometimes it goes horizontally like this, or sometimes it can go vertically down like that. And there's different ways they write things out. So kanji and katakana, and you have to know how to read both of them. I don't know how to read either of them, so that's how it is. When are you going back to the heavyweight factory? I don't know. It's very confusing. Everything here is confused. Even certain words that we use in America they use certain words that mean different things here. So for example, yesterday I was driving around town with my friend, and I saw we drove by a Nissan dealership. Nissan had a dealership, but it didn't say Nissan dealership. It said Nissan Arena. So when I saw a Nissan Arena, I thought like a sports team played there. So I asked him, I said, who plays there? Or is that actually arena? And he's like, no. He said it's a dealership. And I'm like, then why don't they just put dealership? Why does it say arena? And he's like, oh, because we use arena for dealerships or something like that. So crazy. Even like apartments, they call apartments mansions. If you go online and you look at Japanese apartments, they call them mansions. It's crazy. Ruziki or Baru Jack? Ryan Ruziki. Baru Jack is trying to cash out. he's got one foot out the door already. He want to get out of boxing. So I think Ruzicki's hungrier. Ruzicki actually showed, from what I hear at least, I didn't get a chance to watch it because there's no copy of the fight on the internet, but I think Ruzicki showed supposedly that he can make adjustments in box. So they celebrate Christmas out there? They do. I mean, you see the big old Christmas tree behind me? Yeah, they celebrate Christmas. They call apartments, like they call apartments mansions for some reason. I don't know why. Noel is too scared to fight him. Yeah, like Noel McCallion, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to talk down on people, but fuck, man. He needs the WBC needs to do the right thing and strip him, and either A, elevate Ruzicki to the title, or B, allow Ruzicki to just fight for the title against whoever the next contender is. He said, "Damn, see the Gucci stores? Yeah, they got a lot of Gucci stores, and then they even be like places like too, like they having like high-end Japanese fashion. It's crazy out here. And this is like a calm part of Japan. This is like I'm way out in West Japan, on an island somewhere, the smallest island of West Japan. Like, if we were in Tokyo right now, it would be even crazier. You would see like way more people and stuff like that. So I'm really excited for when I do go back to Tokyo to do some lives just like this in Tokyo. You guys see how crazy it is. He's fighting Jack. They announced Badu Jack versus Ruzicki. Oh yeah, Ryan's gonna I think Ryan should beat Badu Jack. I like Badu Jack, but I think Ryan should beat Badu Jack. It's like Puerto Rico, you're on an island. Yeah, and it's crazy that I lived in South Florida all those years. I never went to Puerto Rico, but I've been to Japan twice before I've been to Puerto Rico. So I gotta go to Puerto Rico at some point. That is still part of my heritage, so gotta go check that out, see what that's about. Gotta check out Puerto Rico and Mexico and Canada and all that stuff. All the stuff in the North America. People say Teofimo avoided Shakur though, but yeah, everyone says Shakur up. Everyone avoided Shakur, supposedly. Maybe he did. I don't know, but he's fought some good fighters. He's fought some pretty damn good fighters though in his time. Okay, so Ruzicki versus Jack. That's a good fight. I think Ruzicki should beat Jack. Jack is gonna get hurt. I can't wait to see Jack fighting the way like he did against Marcus Brown. I just wish Jaron Ennis had a couple good wins on his resume so Teofimo would get full credit for beating him. Nah, that doesn't matter. Boots is a big welterweight. He has the frame to fight at 54, 60, and 60 possibly. If Teofimo turned pro as a lightweight, so to go from 35 and then beat a guy who is a big for 147 in his prime, I know people will downplay it and they'll just say Boots isn't that good if that does happen, but I'm giving him full credit. BT, does Davis have any shot against Boachuk? Ishmael Davis? From what I remember, I remember vaguely seeing a fight against Josh Kelly. I wasn't like overly impressed. Everyone has a shot, a puncher's chance, but I wouldn't bank on him. I think it's a good fight for Boachuk to get back in the win column from what I remember seeing from Ishmael Davis. But best wishes to him. Happy holidays to him. You know. Boots is stepping on Teo. I mean, it sounds nice. It definitely sounds good. I wouldn't mind seeing him do it if he can do it, but I wouldn't mind seeing him do it if he can do it. But show me. Tired of hearing Boots will do this and Boots will do that. Boots needs to actually get a legitimate fight and just do it. How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? Is Bivol's career over if he can't be Beterbiev? If he wants it to be, even if he can't be Beterbiev, he's still like one of the best fighters in the world. Beterbiev is Beterbiev. He's on. He's a one of a kind on a different caliber than everyone else. So yeah, maybe Bivol can't be Beterbiev if he doesn't win the rematch, but he can beat pretty much damn near everyone else. So that's up to him. Only he can decide that. If he loses the Beterbiev, he can still beat pretty much everyone else, damn near everyone else. So guys, look, on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up. We've hit the 2-hour mark. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up, and I'm gonna get on my day. But listen, thank you guys for tuning in and watching the live and talking boxing with me. And we'll have more things to talk about as more things happen in boxing. Before I get out the live, again, please go check out that Seigo Yuri Akui interview, the WBA Flyweight champion. Great stuff. I put a lot of effort into that interview, so go check it out. And keep checking out all the content on True School Sports and keep rocking with me. Should be hitting 83,000 subscribers here really soon. It's been a very tough and arduous and just challenging year for me, but I'm happy that things have went well and we found our way to Japan again and people are enjoying the content. So yeah, you guys take care and be safe out there for the holidays, and I'll see you on the next live. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.